Hey girl, hey, welcome to Tia's Table. Let's talk about everything from the latest fitness and wellness trends, recipes that are actually worth cooking, and the craziness that's happening on our side of the internet. Sit back, grab a snack, and let's have some girl talk. Hey girl, hey, welcome back to another episode of Tia's Table. It is Thursday at 10:56. The date is April 30th. I just got home from Pilates. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. But before we do, let's talk about what's on my table right now. Been eating really, really well. Not even going to lie. When I mean to tell you, I'm hooked on the salad that I talked about last week from Cookbook Club. I have been eating that salad in a million different ways. I have also figured out how to buy a salad and turn it into that salad so that when I'm short on time or I just don't feel like doing all the chopping myself, girl, I go get me a salad, I bring it home, I doctor it up, and it is like the best. When I mean to tell you, I'm hooked on it. I'm hooked on it. We actually might have salad for dinner tonight. We truly might just have salad for dinner tonight. Because that is how hooked I am on that salad. And I know my family is going to get sick of me in that salad, but you know how it is. Once you find something that tastes good and it's actually good for you, you just kind of eat it until you're sick of it. And I don't know when that moment will happen for me, but I do not think it will be anytime soon. I mean, I love it. It's the chopped salad from the Boards Cookbook. And I think I did forget to post it on Instagram. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description box of this episode so you can go take a look at it. But it is so good. See if your local library has a copy of that cookbook. If you don't want to buy it, just skim through it. Look at all of the ideas, because when I mean to tell you, the food that day was really, really good. But this salad in particular stood out to me. I have not been able to let it go. That salad has had its hands on me, girl. So I've been eating a lot of that. Yesterday for lunch, I had a spicy chicken situation from Kroger. Over in their meat department, they have these flavored chicken breasts. They're like $10. They come in a bag. You dump the bag into a skillet. You cook the chicken until it's done. And it made for a really good bowl. I ate it with some steamed broccoli and some white rice. I actually ate it yesterday for lunch and dinner. And it was really good. Of course, though, anytime you eat chicken and broccoli and rice, it's not going to be the most filling thing. So, yeah, when I was going to bed last night, I did kind of feel like I was still hungry. But while I was eating that chicken bowl, it was a very good experience. Like, it tastes really, really good. And for only $10, I'm like, yeah, this is something that I might start keeping in my rotation because it was just so easy to do. So that has been really, really good. And next up on my journey through the Barefoot Contessa's recipes, I'm going to switch over to her breakfast. She has a few breakfast recipes that I want to try. So I think I'm going to start making those next week. Have I talked about the lasagna on the podcast? I made her lasagna earlier this week. And when I mean to tell y'all, that thing was perfect. It was perfect. And I don't know why I keep being surprised when I make her stuff and it's like a 10 out of 10. Like, I feel like maybe that says something about me and my level of expectations for things. I'm always expecting things to go bad, but that lasagna was perfect. And to be completely honest, up until this point, whenever I felt like I did not want to cook, I would just go to Costco, buy a lasagna, come home and pop it in the oven. It's a great deal. You get two trays of lasagna for like $18. I pop those bad boys in the oven and it's like, here you go. Get it how you live it. Come and eat. This lasagna was so good that even my child was like, yeah, we can't go back to the Costco lasagna, Mom. Like, we cannot do it. From here on out, is this lasagna or is no lasagna at all? And I have to admit, it really was that good. Now, the thing I got messaged about the most with that recipe was definitely the goat cheese. And while I was reading the recipe, it did feel like it was a lot of cheese in there. There was mozzarella cheese, Parmesan cheese, goat cheese, and ricotta cheese. And so when you read all of that, you're like, ooh, how are all these cheeses going to mix in a way that makes sense so that this isn't like cheesy in a bad way? But once I read the directions, because I don't always do all of that at once, once I read the directions, I'm like, oh, okay, it's a cheese mixture. So you mix all of those cheeses together with an egg, and you basically have like this ricotta mixture that you use to layer the lasagna. It was really good. I would say that if you don't like goat cheese, you could skip it and still end up with a very delicious lasagna. You really could. I like goat cheese, and because of that, I was looking for the goat cheese flavor, so I personally could taste it. No one else in my family said anything to me about the cheese. Like, not one person said anything to me about the cheese. That's because their kids, well, and my husband's palate is just not, so he don't know nothing about no goat cheese. They ate that lasagna just fine. Like, just fine. But if you're a person who does not like goat cheese and you know what goat cheese tastes like, definitely skip it, because I do feel like the flavor was there enough that if you're looking for it, you will absolutely taste it. But, I thought it was good, and I thought it was well balanced and so cheesy in like the best ways. The Italian sausage was perfect in it. The sauce was great. Like, definitely a 10 out of 10. I would absolutely make that again. And I feel like so far, all of the recipes that I've made from her are like crowd pleasing recipes. These are things that I would make if people were coming to visit or we were having people over. I would make them because I would feel really good about multiple people really enjoying them. So there's that for the lasagna. I went out for girls' night on Tuesday. Me and some friends of mine met for dinner at one of the Mexican restaurants pretty close to me. First of all, I felt like the food was good. I felt like their guacamole could have been a little bit more seasoned, but we gonna let that go. I felt like the food was good. Girls' night is always so much fun. The conversation was great. Lots of laughs. Love those ladies down. But let me tell you what the standout was of that particular girls' night dinner. That restaurant had $3 margaritas. And when you hear somebody say that, you're like, well, how good is this going to be? Because it is only $3. I got mine frozen. And when I mean to tell you those margaritas were good, those margaritas were good. I don't know what kind of tequila was in them, but whatever it was a good enough tequila so that like the next day I was unfazed. I did not wake up with a hangover, and I think I had like 4 of those things. I did not wake up with a hangover. It was fine. I was fine. They were great. They were great. They were so good that I thought to myself, I should probably ask them what all is in this margarita. I never did. Because you know how it is when you're at a table with everybody. Everybody's talking and laughing. And when the server does normally come to your table, it's like a quick exchange. So I kept forgetting to ask. But I'm like, oh, yeah, this right here was pretty good. And I know for a fact it had to be a cost-effective margarita, or else y'all wouldn't be serving them for $3. Like, I know there's got to be a catch somewhere. I just don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. But, baby, this was a good frozen margarita for $3. And I said to myself, duly noted, they've got $3 margaritas over here. And this will not be my last time coming over here to get one. Now, the food, on the other hand, did I feel like their food was better than the place I normally go? No, I think my favorite Mexican place has yet to be beat in this area that I live in. Yeah, I didn't feel like their food was like, oh my gosh, I got to come back here for this specific meal. No, didn't feel that way at all. But what my regular little spot does not have is a $3 margarita. Everybody's got their something. And for this restaurant, that $3 margarita was definitely their something. Love a good girls' night out. And we talked about microdosing like Friend, Joy, and all of that last week. Make sure y'all are practicing that, putting some wheels in motion to see all of your good girlfriends all over the summer. Remember, it doesn't have to be a big to-do. What I loved about meeting on a Tuesday night was that it was kind of no pressure, right? I think everybody came with the understanding, like we all have to get up and do school drop off tomorrow. We got to get up, got to get ready for work, all of that. So we will not be here all night, but we're going to meet at 6. We're going to eat. We're not going to be in a rush. But yeah, like at a decent time, we're going to take it back to the crib. And that's exactly what we did. I love that so very much. Do not forget to microdose dates with your friends all throughout the summer. Okay, so let's talk about a few things. And I'm not even really sure where to start. I feel like there's so much going on. Right before I called you, I was like looking on Threads to see if anything had happened, of note before we started talking. And of course, I run across the news about the Supreme Court voting against the Voting Rights Act and about how down in Louisiana, they pretty much started their election process for their primaries. People have already sent in absentee ballots and they are trying to cancel that election. What I feel like we are almost at the tipping point where I know I personally am about to be like, I can't handle any more news. Like I can't handle any more news. Honestly, I can't take any more groundbreaking news. I can't do it. Something like this, when you read about it, and it's not, well, it is the story. Because I started to say it's not even about what's actually happening. It is the story in and of itself, obviously, because if you are a Black person, you know the history of our people and you know what all your ancestors went through so that you could have the right to vote. You could have the right to do whatever it is you wanted to do every day when you wake up, right? And so to see in real time people trying to take those rights away, or just make it so that it's just more difficult for you to exercise your rights, is like one of the most disgusting things I think I've ever witnessed in my life. And it's not shocking, which is sad to say, because like this is America. So like it's not even a shocking thing. Like it's not like I can sit here and say like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're trying to do this. No, because I can believe it. I can believe it because when you read the comments under these news articles, or like when news breaks, you go and you read the comments to see what random people are thinking about this because you're hoping that they are as outraged as you are. What you find when you get into those comment sections is that number one, people are stupid. They don't even know what they're talking about for the most part. So let's start there. But then number two, for people who do understand what's happening and you can tell they understand, but like they're with it, like they're down for it. I read a comment from a woman on Threads that was like, oh, no, they're not trying to take your rights. They're just trying to make it equal rights for them too. And I read that and I was like, equal rights for who, baby? Because y'all don't always had equal rights. Y'all have always had equal rights. But what you did not anticipate is the fact that minorities would be able to play catch up as well as we have. And to be honest, we still haven't caught all the way up. But the fact that we are as close, or the fact that somebody somewhere has been able to identify like, oh, like if we don't change things, if we don't roll a few things back or take some of these rights away, they're smart, they're unified, and we will either be the minority in our beliefs and our thoughts, our morals, and our ideals, or we will just flat out like not be in power. And I think it's the power, right? It's the power that they are addicted to. It's the power that they cannot imagine their lives without. And it is the power that makes them do some of the most egregious things you could ever imagine people in government doing. Like, I don't know if people realize what these decisions will ultimately lead to, but I can assure you that right now, today, it seems like decisions are being made to put certain people back in their place, or to make it harder for certain people to exercise their right to vote, or the elections are definitely going to be rigged so that certain people stay in office, certain people stay in places of power. That is what it is today on the surface level. You wait just a few more years when their aim picks a new target, because today it's definitely Black people, it's definitely minority populations, it's definitely people who live in certain neighborhoods and certain zip codes, because it always starts with us, right? You just wait. And in a few years, it's going to start tapping and touching people that you know, people that look like you, people who would have never thought that when they voted that this is what they were voting for. You just wait. And I think for some people, they are realizing that now, and they realize that they made wrong decisions now, but like, girl, it's too late, because you're part of the reason why we're dealing with what we're dealing with in this moment. But for the people who they still don't really see the consequences of their actions, you just wait long enough. You just wait long enough. Do you understand how rich you have to be for none of this to touch you? And most of us, 99% of us, are not rich enough to escape some of this stuff. I really feel like between the No Child Left Behind Act, I really feel like possibly, well, not possibly, but definitely COVID. I feel like those two bookend events, it did something to a lot of people's ability to comprehend different things, analyze situations, or at the very least, use their God-given common sense to be able to determine when things are starting to go left. And maybe when you are a Black woman, you are raised with that knowing, like from the time you are a little girl, right? You are raised to focus on your ability to detect when things are going left. You are raised to pretty much not ever let anything go left. So when shit starts to slide, you're the first one to be like, oh no, you guys, if we do this, this is going to end poorly for us. When you know that and you scream it from the rooftops, like you use a speakerphone and you scream out to the masses like, hey, y'all, don't do that. Don't do that. It's going to end bad for us. And no one listens. And then a year or two later, people want to come back and be like, oh my gosh, oh no, things are going left. I didn't see this coming. And you say that to one of us and we look back at you and we say, well, we told you. We told you this was going to go left. We told you this would end badly. We might not have known how bad, but we knew it would be bad. And so like, here we are as a country where it's a lot of us saying, we told y'all what to do. Y'all didn't do it. We did everything we knew how to do. We fundraised. We told all the people who to vote for. People marched. People went to town hall meetings. People got online and shared things. People tried to rally. People tried to be as supportive as they could. And it's like that group of people that I spoke about a moment ago, who either lack the ability to comprehend or they understand completely what is going on, but they are trying to place themselves in a position of power. So they go along to get along, and you'll let somebody just lead you into the land of the unknown and dumb. That is how we got to where we are right now on a Friday in the spring, almost lunchtime. Some people haven't even had their lunch yet. And you read on your phone that the Voting Rights Act has been voted against. And in certain states, they are trying to literally cancel elections that for the most part have already begun. People have mailed in absentee ballots. Can you even believe it? Early voting was supposed to start, I think, in Louisiana on Saturday. Today is Thursday. And the fact that they might get away with doing that, it's kind of like you don't want to be the person to incite violence. But sometimes I think to myself, well, we've tried everything else. Like we have tried the MLK way. And I feel like it really might be time to go the route of Malcolm X. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just a housewife with a microphone, girl. What do I know? But I know it's looking real bleak out here. It's looking real bleak out here. And if you have children, if you have kids, just know that the decisions that you're making right now will impact them for years to come. They will have to do a lot of the work to undo a lot of this as they become old enough to vote. And I don't know how many years all of this will set them back or set back us as a country. And I don't think people think about that enough either. Obviously, because they feel like the current decisions that are being made, they truly do believe it's helping them and not hurting them. And that's just because they don't realize that today is just not their turn. Today, you're just not the target. But one day you will be. And when you become the target, I literally don't want to hear anything you have to say. That's one thing that has gotten on my nerves this week. I'm about to share a lot of things that have gotten on my nerves this week. So hang in there. Hang in there. Buckle up, Buttercup. It's going to start out a little bumpy today. Something else that is definitely a first world problem and completely unrelated to the downshift of the country. The other day, I was on the Apple website, right? Because I have come to a place where I know and understand I need to get another device in this house. I put it off long enough. And the only reason I continue to buy Apple is because all of the children have their devices. All of our phones are Apple. And it's just a seamless integration. You buy one of those devices, you come home, you log in, and boom, everything's connected the way you need it to be to keep running your home, right? So I'm like, okay, I learned about the trade-in program on TikTok, which I didn't even know was like a real thing. I learned about the trade-in program. This girl was talking about how she got a new MacBook for like $50 or like, I don't know what it was. It was definitely less than $100 because she said she traded in some of her other devices and basically walked out of there with a MacBook for free. And I said, oh, baby, I have old devices in here because, you know, I'm a millennial. I don't throw away nothing. I probably still might have some of the boxes for these devices too. So I go to my little drawer that holds, like it's my Apple graveyard. It's my little Apple cemetery. I go over to that drawer. I open it up. I pull out a MacBook Pro. I pull out a couple iPads and I pull out a couple iPhones. And I go through the process of filling out that little form on their website for the trade-in program for each and every device. None of my devices were eligible for trade-in. Spoiler alert. But what they tell you is like, oh, girl, I'm sorry. None of these devices are going to be eligible for trade-in, but you can still send them to us and we will recycle them for you. And so again, I have been raised to know when y'all trying to get over on me, why do you think, Apple, that I would pack my devices up and send them to you so that you can quote unquote recycle them for me? Because I know what you'll do with those devices, because some of them are in perfect, like pristine condition. What you will do is you will get them. You will be like, oh, this iPad is actually beautiful. It looks like it just came out of the box. It just doesn't turn on. Because you know how that is with some of their devices. Once they get so many years old, you'll be trying to charge it. One day it will just stop charging. And then one day it will just stop turning on. Nothing was wrong with it. It was working 1 minute, the next minute, now it's just gone. And so I'm like, oh no, baby, because you'll get these devices and y'all will fix them and then y'all will resell them to somebody. And so now basically you just got my old stuff for free. And I'm not going for that. If these things really do need to be recycled, I will figure out how to do that. And I will make sure that they are, recycled. I would much rather go through the process of figuring out how to recycle a device myself. And if that device should happen to fall into the hands of another human being who's either willing to figure out how to make it work or they just know how to They just know how to refurbish those devices. I would much rather another human being come up off of me recycling than to give it back to a corporation who I know for a fact intends to fix them and sell them. Or what you would probably do with my old MacBook Pro is you probably chop it up and use the pieces, if you can, in other devices that you are refurbishing and push them back out. Like, I was not born yesterday. I was actually born in 1984, which is why I'm a little annoyed at all of these small inconveniences at life, which I do understand is a me problem. But I feel like this week it's just been way too many of them for me to hold them inside. I have been trying to work on exercising my throat chakra so that I don't let all of that stress live inside the body, right? Because we know that is like hustling backwards. If you want the body to be tea, you have to let the kettle pop. You have to let it steam. And so this is what we're doing. Apple, you got me messed up. Truly. I will be figuring out how to get rid of all of these devices all on my own. Okay? Next up, and this one's really hard for me because I love Costco. But baby, when I mean to tell you Costco is now no longer selling one too many of my favorites are no longer being sold at my Costco. Most recently, I went in there to get my late July multigrain chips. Those chips were perfect. I love them. It was a huge, 28-ounce bag for $7.99. I go in there, I'm doing all my little grocery shopping. I get to the chip section. I'm looking and I don't see my chips. I pull it up into the app and they say it's low stock. And immediately I know what that means. That means y'all stop selling them. So then I do the next smartest thing, which now I'm pulling up Kroger's app. Kroger sells late July, but not that particular variety of them. So then I pull up Publix. Publix has the chips. It is a 7.5-ounce bag. And I don't know if you've ever used Publix's app, but they don't put prices for all of their items in their app. They want you to know that they have the item, but if you actually want to know how much it costs, you either have to go into Instacart and act like you're going to Instacart it so you can get an idea of how much the item costs, or you have to physically come inside Publix. And then it's like, surprise, surprise, it's $8 for this 7.5-ounce bag, and you were paying $7 for a 28-ounce bag over at Costco. And I'm just like, Again, this is one of the things that's about to send me over my tipping point, which probably means I just need a vacation, to be honest with you. But I'm like, how exactly do you expect me to go from paying $7.99 for a 28-ounce bag to probably paying, if we're being realistic, those chips are probably $6. They're probably $6 at Publix, but it's for a fourth of the amount. Do you not know 5 people live in this house? What am I going to do with 7.5 ounces of chips? And so I know that this means that I now have to do multiplication, and I have to buy multiple bags of chips so that when we have taco night, we have enough chips for everybody, which means you think I'm about to spend somewhere between $15 and $20 just in tortilla chips. I think not, so that my family can have a healthy version of a dipper for their homemade guacamole that's better than the $3 margarita spot and salsa. Please. Again, I was not born yesterday. You really got me messed up, Costco, and I'm going to need y'all to do better. I follow the Lavelle Show on TikTok. Love him. Love his content. If you've never seen Lavelle on social media, girl, you're missing out. He's so fun. But he went to Sam's the other day. And when I saw him going through Sam's, I was like, ooh, now Sam's does seem like they have way more fun food options, right? I was like, Tia, don't do it, girl. Don't do it, girl. Don't you get a Sam's membership. And now you got a membership over here. You got a membership over there. I said what I would do, though, is I said, oh, baby, I'm about to pull up the Sam's app on my phone. I'm about to do a little scanning to see what all their inventory looks like, to see if it's possible that sometimes if Costco doesn't have something that I'm looking for, or they've stopped selling it, I wonder if Sam's will have it. Because I will not, I just absolutely will not become one of those grocery shoppers. Let's call it that, because I was about to say something else. I will not become one of those grocery shoppers that ends up spending more than I want to just because you grocery store corporations want me to feel backed into a corner. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I'm going to have to figure that out. I have to figure that out. But Costco, girl, I'm looking at you a little sideways. Y'all need to pull it together. I know summer is coming, and I know y'all are about to have all of that summer stuff. Every summer toy, every swimsuit, all of the things. Y'all are about to have that store full of stuff. Put my chips and my salsa and that Chipotle platter. Because, see, they had a Chipotle platter that was like a Chipotle bowl. It had rice, it had beans, it had chicken, it had salsa, guacamole, but it was like family size. Put that platter back into the I can't cook section and quit filling the I can't cook section 2.0. This is what Lavelle calls it. Quit filling that section with stuff don't nobody want. We don't want gumbo. Well, somebody might. Somebody might be able to get that gumbo and like doctor it up. But I don't want gumbo that I bring home and I warm up in the refrigerator. I guess not refrigerator, microwave. Or I guess people are doing it on the stove. I don't want pre-made gumbo. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want that. Start giving us the things we actually want. Or dare I say it, no one is safe. Not for me these days. I feel like I have turned over a new leaf. And while I'll never get rid of my Costco membership, because that would be a lie, I would never get rid of it. Oh, honey, I can cheat. I can cheat like Klay Thompson. And I can definitely get me a Sam's membership and be over there getting all the things that y'all say y'all don't want to give me no more. Something else that got on my nerves. And this is very recent because I literally just got back home. Like I said, let me start this off by saying it's me. It is a me problem. But maybe since we're friends here, y'all will be like, girl, it's them. It's not you. It's not you, it's them. Okay, I go to Pilates this morning because like I tell everybody, I'm trying to do the ladder app Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. By the time I do that Wednesday workout with ladder, I am sore. Like right now, my glutes, my hamstrings, my lower body, walking up the steps in my house is a problem. If I sit down for too long and I try to stand back up, I got to do it real slow because that app has worked me out. On Instagram the other day, I was like, ooh, we started the Shred series, but like so far, I really can't tell the difference between that and what we were doing before. Okay, well, I take that back because now I can tell a difference. I can tell a difference, but I like it. I'm enjoying it. I like it. I like it so much that I have been like looking at, if that's the way to say it. I had been like pulling up the workouts beforehand just to see what all we're going to be doing, like the individual exercises, because that's how excited I am. I'm like, ooh, what are we doing today? Or like, ooh, what are we doing tomorrow? What's on the docket for Saturday? Like, I'm so into it. But yeah, by Thursday, I'm sore and I definitely need a weightlifting break because like we have pointed out, I'm 42, right? I need a break, which is why I said I would go to Pilates on Thursdays. I get over to Pilates. Mind you, it was a little dreary outside this morning. The temps have dropped a little bit. It was a little misty. I had to drop off 2 out of my 3 kids. I'm not complaining about that. It's just the fact of life. I had to do it. I'm leaving my son's school, going over to Pilates, stressed about getting there on time because I was not anticipating having to drop him off at school. But he's so sweet and so cute. It was a lovely 10 to 15 minutes with him. Drop him off, headed over to Pilates, get over there. I'm sitting outside in my car waiting for the, that 8 o'clock class, I believe it is, to get out. And as I'm sitting there, I'm already thinking to myself, Tia, do not become frustrated in the process of coming over here. Because once you decide that this is an inconvenience for you, there will be nothing holding you back from telling these people, love you, mean it. I was here for a good time, but unfortunately it won't be a long time, right? I'm like, Tia, get over it. It's fine. You're going to be okay. So I go into class. I'm sitting on my reformer waiting for class to start. And this is not the first time I have noticed this since my return. But today I think it's either me or really I'm like, nah, this is kind of out of pocket and they need to like tighten it up over here. I don't know which one. But I'm sitting on my reformer and I'm like, okay, well, it's 9:00. Like, let's go ahead, get started because it's 9. This is supposed to be over at 9:50. I could literally be home by 10 so-and-so. I have other things I need to do. Book club is tonight. I need to finish reading. Oh, and patting myself on the back. I also ordered the study guide for Tar Baby this month. I don't think I shared that, but I also ordered the study guide and I've been using the study guide to help me break down what Toni Morrison be talking about, right? So I'm like, yeah, I want to make sure I have time to finish the book and read the section for what I'm about to read from the study guide so that like I have all of the pieces before book club tonight because I love going to book club. So I'm like, I got stuff I got to do. Class does not start on time because of chatter and talking. And so on the one hand, you're like, oh, okay, I love that the girls are having a great time. I love that they have a sense of community. I love that this is fun for them. I really do. I love it. But also this class is supposed to start at 9:00. So let's lay down on these reformers and get it started. Then all throughout class, the chatter and the yapping was so much that the instructor really did have a hard time taking us through the workout. There were times during the workout, most notably when we were standing at the bar, we were on our Bosu balls in a squat, mind you, like standing on that Bosu ball in a squat, holding on to the ballet bar. And we had been down in that squat for so long that I was literally starting to shake. I looked in the mirror to see what the people, like behind me and around me were doing. And everybody was standing up. But because I normally have my eyes closed or I'm like looking down or whatever, I didn't know that. So I looked over my shoulder at the instructor. And I think the look on my face said like, WTF, like, what are we supposed to be doing? And she said to me, she was like, no, Tia, like you're doing the right thing. Everybody is supposed to be in their squat. And I said, okay, honey, because we done been down here. Well, I have. I know I've been in this squat for a solid 40 seconds. So you either got to cue the next thing or tell these people to zip it and let's get through this class. It's got to be one of the two because this is supposed to be a mind-body connection that we're all having. And I can't connect my mind to my body if everyone is in here yapping, yapping, yapping. If they want to yap and chat, that is fine, but I feel like they need to book private parties for that. If you kind of want to play while you do your Pilates, definitely book a private for that. You and your girls can come and get a good gaggle while you play on these reformers. But for other people like me who are here because I really am trying to have a serene experience and because her playlists are so good, I cannot hear Gerald Levert singing me through this section of class because y'all are giggling, laughing, talking, and distracting her. Like you are talking to her, which part of that is on the instructor too. But she really is a sweetheart. And I could see her maybe not wanting to be as firm, but I'm like, oh, honey, no, because I'm spending my dollars to come over here. So when I'm over here, I want a serene mind-body experience that allows me to calm my nervous system, connect my mind to my muscles in a way that my body truly needs by the end of the week. And I can't do that if y'all are in here playing, which again is probably just me because I recognize that my tolerance for certain things definitely escaped me during the big to-do. Like I really just don't have it anymore. And this is one of the things that I don't have it in me to deal with anymore. So I told myself, I go to class tomorrow, right? Different class, different instructor. I go to class tomorrow. But if I go to that class tomorrow and it's kind of like much of the same, because the studio didn't used to be that way. Back when they first opened and, I think the original set of members that were there, because I really haven't seen many of those people since I've been back either. I think everybody was more serious about learning the practice of Pilates, and it wasn't so much like a giggle fest. And I guess at some point while I was gone, it has turned into that, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. You're supposed to have a good time. You're supposed to find joy in all the moments. Just find joy in the peace and quiet of this mind-body experience. And let's just keep the giggling to while we're cleaning up afterwards. Like, get your giggles in then. Get your giggles in before she starts class. But from 9 to 9:50, I really only want to hear the sound of her voice in this amazing playlist. For crying out loud, she had Belle Biv DeVoe on that playlist today. She had Gerald Levert. She had After 7. She had nothing but the R&B hits of my time, and I could not even enjoy them for all of the shenanigans that were going on. And I'm a whimsy girl. I love a fun time, but I do unfortunately feel like I've hit that place where I'm like, there's a time and a place for everything. And while I'm spending almost $300 a month to come over here, this ain't the time and this ain't the place. And I don't know how many classes I have left in me before I have to say that in my outside voice. But I do feel like it's coming. It's coming. So we shall see. That is something else that got on my nerves this week. Now, we're going to file this under something that got on my nerves this week. But I do feel like it's been a bigger trending topic online. But let me just say that the whole conversation around Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson breaking up really has gotten on my nerves at a level that has reminded me that at the end of the day, the majority of men really ain't shit. And how we know that is not because he cheated on her. Because again, I think people are shocked that he did because of how their relationship seemed like it was going, or at least the version of it they had put online. So I think people were shocked, like, oh, they didn't think he was capable of cheating, or they didn't think he was going to cheat. So I think that's the shocking part about it. But really, when you think about it, cheating is not a new concept. That is what they do. It's what they're going to do. And as unfortunate as it is to say, as long as little boys are born every day, cheating will always be a thing. Because unfortunately, like we talked about in the beginning of this call, I think women are raised to be wives and boys are just raised to survive and exist, unfortunately, by any means necessary. And they are raised, I think, to be emotionally selfish, maybe not on purpose, but because they get coddled the way that they do, they are unaware of other people's feelings their whole life. So for that reason, they just don't care about them. I think it is a rare thing to come across a guy who is so emotionally intelligent that he would rather be honest with you than to like do what Klay just did. That's rare. And we know it's rare because you rarely ever hear anybody saying like, oh yeah, girl, he broke up with me because he said he met somebody else and he wants to like explore that relationship. You never hear that story. What you always hear is, oh my gosh, girl, yeah, I found out so-and-so was cheating on me. Like he's been talking to this other girl. Like he's been seeing this other girl or whatever. And I found out, not that the man came and said, I met this other woman and I've been seeing her. You just happened to find out. Now, allegedly what has happened is the girl that he was cheating on Meg with, I guess had told friends or put it in her Instagram close friends or something. And somebody told Megan about it. Megan confronted him and he was basically like, yeah, I don't think a monogamous relationship is going to be for me. And it's kind of like, well, at one point, did you know that? Did you know that when you bought me that Bentley that I read that he has already taken back? Did you know that then? Did you know that when we were house hunting and we bought a house together? At what point in this relationship did you decide, yeah, I don't think I can be a one-woman man? Like, yeah, I don't think I can do it. When did you know that? And when you came into a knowing of that fact, why didn't you just tell me? Because my feelings were going to be hurt either way. And I'm speaking in first person like I'm Megan. My feelings were going to be hurt either way. But at least now, if you had told me, I could still see you as like a human being worth knowing. But since you were deceitful and you decided to cheat and you went behind my back, hoping that I would probably never find out, like you were definitely, I feel like he was definitely going to have to he was definitely going to try to have his cake and eat it too. Because we know that to be the case, I'm like, now she sees you the way she sees whoever else that she has dated that has done her dirty. Like you are not special. You are not extraordinary. Nothing about you is worth remembering or having a sweet spot in my heart for, because you decided to do me dirty. You decided to not care about my feelings and emotions when you made that decision. I feel so bad for her because I feel like it wasn't enough for her to just go through a breakup or like get cheated on or whatever. I feel like the conversation around it has been bigger than the breakup itself. And people really act like this is like a new thing. I've heard people say everything from he didn't fumble her because he makes so much money, or something about him being a future Hall of Famer. They've talked about all of his accomplishments, like that somehow makes it okay that he did her like that. When really, when you think about it, I'm like, yeah, no. Let's run down all of Meg's accomplishments that we know of. And I might miss some because the list is long. Okay, let's start with the fact that Megan is a college graduate. Let's also start with the fact that Megan has the Megan Pete Foundation. Yeah, the Megan Pete Foundation. Let's also go with the fact that Megan owns her own Popeyes franchise. She also has a deal with Dunkin' Donuts. She also has a deal with Cheetos. I think she just released her flamin' dill pickle flavor, something like that. Let's go with that. Let's also remember that Megan has a tequila line, right? Let's also remember that Megan has a deal with Walmart and she sells swimwear at your local Walmart, okay? Let's also remember that Megan has been on TV shows. I think she's on that one with, what's that boy's name from Harry Potter? I don't know. But his TV show that he has on the Peacock app, she's been on that. She has also been either in the movie Roommates or she must be on the soundtrack for it. Don't know, but yeah, she's done that. Megan has had so many musical collaborations. Some of the very large ones have been with those K-pop groups that are like big business. K-pop is a big business, okay? She's been on a lot of their songs, so there's that. We know she was on Broadway, and she currently still is until May 1st with Moulin Rouge, okay? Megan also went on tour a couple summers ago where she had sold out show after sold out show after sold out show. Let's also remember that Megan is a 3-time Grammy winner. One of those Grammys she won with Beyoncé, okay? So let's start there. When you want to start listing out people's accomplishments, let's run down the very long list of things that this girl has done. And I don't think Megan is even 30 yet. Don't think she's even 30 yet. Let's also point out that Megan's money is forever money. Megan will be able to rap as long as she is alive. Megan will be able to do a lot of these other things as long as she wants to, because she has cemented herself as the hot girl. So as long as that's what she wants to do, she's going to be able to do it. She's going to be able to do it. Do you know how long you can play basketball? And I don't care how much money they're paying you right now to do it. You could very well be worth $140 million or in a contract for $140 million. And that's a lot of money. We're not going to sit here and act like it's not. But do you know how long you can play basketball? Do you know that in order for you to be one of those athletes that gets brand deals that we see you in like commercials, they might let you make a meal at McDonald's. You might be in a Sprite commercial, something like that. They have to feel like the general public as a whole either, number one, knows who you are, and then number two, likes you. And so let's sit with those two things for just a moment, because I don't know how many people outside of basketball fans knew about Klay Thompson before Megan. Now, I happen to live in a house with a big basketball fan, so I remember him as a Splash Brother. I know he played with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Kevin Durant, and they won all those rings when he played for Golden State. I remember. I know the lore, right? I remember when he got traded to Dallas, and it was like, ooh, how could they break up the Splash Brothers? But if you are not an NBA fan, you probably don't know anything that I'm talking about right now. You have no idea. So I would venture to guess that would mean that he is not a household name in the way men on the internet think that he was. Just because that's someone that you guys know about and talk about when you're at the barbershop, it doesn't mean that people all over the world know who he is. Because, baby, he is not a LeBron James. He is not a Michael Jordan. He's not a Larry Bird. He's not a Magic Johnson. Okay? He might be very successful with what he did, because they say he's one of the top 3 players in the NBA as far as like shooting threes goes, which is why he was a Splash Brother. But that's it. They say he might be a Hall of Fame player at some point in the future. When that will happen, we don't know, because right now he's still currently on a roster, right? But none of that is forever. Like, at some point, you're going to have to stop playing basketball because your body is going to age out of it. Or younger, fresher talent is going to come into the NBA and they're going to push you out of your spot, right? People have to like you somewhat for you to start being in commercials. Eli and Peyton Manning, they have not played in the NFL in forever. But do you know why you always see them on TV? Because people actually like them when they were playing. And I don't know nothing about the Manning family other than they're a football family. Archie, Eli, Peyton, and I think they got a little nephew or a little somebody who's in the NFL right now. But what I mean to say by all of that is people liked them while they were playing. When they retired, people were like, oh no, we still want to be in business with Eli and Peyton. So now you see them selling Oreos and car insurance. I don't think that is going to be the case for you, Klay, because if it was, we would see you on stuff now. They have even given Kevin Durant a commercial or two. And do you know how hard it is to like him? He doesn't even get his hair cut. Do you know how hard it is to like Kevin Durant? And even they put him on some extra TV stuff. I do not see you being a commentator. I do not see them putting you on a panel to talk about the games or playoff season after you have retired. I don't. They gonna keep letting Chuck, Shaq, Kenny, and what's homeboy's name that played for Michigan? Oh, I hate that I can't think of his name. Ooh, he played for Michigan, but they have him up there talking sometimes too. I'm not going to look it up because I feel like even if I said his name, y'all are going to be like, who? But he's so cute. What is his name? And as soon as I pull it up, y'all are going to be like, yep, that's him. I hate that I cannot do it. And it's not Reggie Miller. But even people don't like Reggie Miller, and you see Reggie Miller keep a job. He stay on TV sometimes, not too much. I cannot think of that man's name, but I'm going to figure it out before we get off the phone. I tried to Google it and he didn't come up immediately, but he played for Michigan back when during the Michigan scandal. He was one of those people, if you know what I'm talking about. See, watch a documentary or two and you'll be able to talk about sports just enough to make it seem like you know what you're talking about. But yes. Klay, you are not that. You are not that. And for all of the men that I have seen in the different comment sections, talking about she fumbled, talking about she's this, she's not wife material, You can't this, you can't that, she'll never this, she'll never that. I really do wonder how you expect to be in a relationship with somebody who is grown, but you also don't want them to have any experience being in a relationship. Like you don't want them to have ex-boyfriends, right? But you yourself want to date these women. And then when you date a woman and it doesn't work out for whatever the reason, you then move on to other women, and you don't think that there was a man that came before you that probably is on the same BS that you were on with the last woman that you were with. I don't get it. I don't get how people like Cameron, people like Stephen A. Smith, people who have platforms and access to an audience. I don't get how you get in front of those microphones and you say these things about this 20-something plus year old woman when you have daughters that date. Do you not realize that this is just what happens? If you date enough men, this is part of the process. Unfortunately, it is. I even saw, and like women are not safe from this rant either, because some of the comments I've been seeing from women have gotten on my nerves. I saw a comment from a woman right before I called y'all that said that, she was like, oh, I'm starting to think that it's something wrong with Meg. Like Meg is a common denominator in all of these situations. And it's kind of like, girl, number one, if he ain't picked you yet, he not going to pick you. There's that. Number two, what are you talking about? If you date, and let's say, because I don't even know what happened in her previous relationships other than the one with Tory Lanez. He shot her. So yeah, they were probably going to have to break up. If Clay cheated on her, they were going to have to break up. I don't know what happened with her and Partisan Fontaine, because they dated for a long time and then they were broken up. So I don't know if he cheated. I don't know if he just was moving weird in a way she didn't like. And so that's why they broke up. I really don't know. But to me, I'm like, she hasn't been attached to anybody publicly. Like really, when you think about it, she has had less than a handful of boyfriends. That's one. But number two, even if she was just dating, how do you think she's going to meet somebody that she might actually feel like is worth marrying if she doesn't date? And I would ask that woman the same thing. From behind your keyboard, tell me, how do you intend on marrying someone if you don't date? Like if you don't date. And so surely you don't think every single person that you date, you're going to actually marry them. That's not how it works. That's just, the numbers aren't even in your favor for that. But they are trying to do her the same way that they kind of do Lori Harvey. And I hate to bring her up every time there's a dating conversation, but she's the only young person that I can think of who actually dates without getting wrapped up in it. Meaning she dates somebody, if it doesn't go the way she wants it to go, or if something happens, she breaks up with them and she moves on without necessarily being engaged to them, without things getting too messy, and for the love of it all, without managing to wind up with somebody's baby. Because that would be like the worst thing that could happen, is you find out he ain't worth nothing, but now you're pregnant, and absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. So I don't get why the conversation around this has grown into something that is so big. I don't know if it's because of the two people. I don't know if it's because people don't like that she outed him, or I've read that people feel like maybe she shouldn't have told. She just should have said that they were breaking up. But I'm like, well, no, because if she would have said, oh, we're not together anymore, the very next question people would have had is why. And so it's much easier to say, oh, we broke up. He cheated on me. I don't play that. We moving on. I think people expected her to stay, especially the men that I've seen commenting about this, because they say he makes so much money and who he's going to be whenever he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. Like, they expected her to stay. I 100% think that Clay also expected her to stay. I do not think for 1 minute that he thought she was going to break up with him. Oh, I'm sorry, my phone rang. I don't know how. But I don't think he thought for 1 second she was going to break up with him. I think that man thought, because they had been so public, I think that he probably thought he had done enough of the nice things, like all of the good, nice things. Like, we've had really good trips. We have done all the cutesy little like golfing dates, because they used to share that on Instagram all the time. I named my boat after you. Like, I've done all these romantic gestures. Surely me doing this is not going to like end this relationship. And she was like, actually, no, Clay, baby, I've mourned worse. And I think that's what people are forgetting, that even though I'm sure it broke her heart to have to break up with him, or what he did broke her heart. So like, yeah, that led to a breakup. I think people are also forgetting she's been through bigger things. So losing him ain't nothing like losing your mama. It's not going to compare to losing your daddy. Doesn't compare at all to losing your grandma. And she's been through all of that very recently. Losing him is probably one of the easiest things for her to mourn when you look at the long list of things she's already grieving. That, and I just want to say that men always think more highly of themselves than what they should, and they think more highly of each other than they should. Clay is not that special. I assure you. I assure you that I know there are women in my phone right now that if they met him, knowing he was an NBA player at that, they still wouldn't be attracted to him. And it wouldn't be enough millions in his pocket to make them be like, well, yeah, I'll give him a chance. No, it's either you're cute or you're not. It's either you're cute or you're not. And I am afraid that we only tolerated him because we really do just love Megan that much. We were like, Megan, girl, if this is what you want to do, like, girl, we gonna ride for you every time. The second she said it was a wrap for him, I'm sure many of us sighed and we were like, oh, yeah, girl, well, you're better off. You're better off, because you shouldn't have to put up with that kind of behavior, number one. And you definitely shouldn't put up with that behavior from somebody who the internet said this. I didn't say this. I did not come up with this on my own. But the internet said he looks like the PBS logo. And now that they've said it, I can't unsee it. So yeah, there will be no spinning the block. I'm glad she moved on. I'm glad she knows her worth. And I hope she is somewhere healing and getting what she needs, because it will in fact be a hot girl summer, not just for Megan, but for all of us. And I'm very excited about that. Pretty sure that next album is going to be fire. I just know it is. That conversation definitely got on my nerves all last week. Now, let's move on. Something that I'm actually excited about and I think will be fun is Beyoncé at the Met, because I know as a member of the Hive, this is the beginning to Act 3. She does something big, then we'll get a single. Soon after that, we'll get the album, so on and so forth. Then there will be the tour next year. I'm excited and ready for it all. I think this next album, as we can clearly see, is going to have a very heavy funk rock influence. We know this by how she is dressing. Her outfits always tell us what to look for, right? I also think that because she has started using lemons again in a lot of her marketing and a lot of the things that we're seeing, and this is just my opinion, it could be very wrong, right? But I think that that is an indicator that this album is going to close up this whole musical arc that she's been on. Walk with me. We can hold hands if you want to. Remember, we got Lemonade 10 years ago. On Lemonade, she sang about a very hard time that she went through in her marriage because her husband also cheated. Beyoncé decided to stay and work through all the things. That is what Lemonade is about. It goes through the process of her finding out about the cheating, her grieving their relationship, and her healing from it, and them coming out on the other side, right? On that album, she sings every single genre of popular music: country, rock, pop, R&B, a little bit of her little singing, rapping thing that she does. It's a great album. That album should have won Album of the Year. It went to Adele. Adele says this in her speech. Everyone agrees. She performs daddy lessons at the CMAs with the Dixie Chicks. And the people at the Country Music Awards really was tight about it. They were really in their feelings. And when the performance was over, they got on Twitter and was using their Twitter fingers to basically say, like, this is a country thing. Why is she over here? And so then Beyoncé said, oh, I know y'all not talking about me. Me, the most Grammy-winning artist of all time. I know you're not talking about me because, see, I did y'all's little show a favor by getting dressed up and coming over here. I hollered at my girls and was like, hey, I know y'all haven't been over there in a long time either. I like what y'all do. Do y'all want to come sing daddy lessons with me? It would be a great time. The Dixie Chicks, they were like, yeah, girl, we're on the way. We would never turn down an opportunity to stick it to the man or perform with you. We're with it. So they do it. It's great. If you've never seen that performance, you're missing out. Pull it up on YouTube, girl. It's a great time. Beautiful performance. But when they showed out after the fact, Beyoncé said, I can show you better than I can tell you. Now, let's all remember Cowboy Carter was really supposed to be Act 1. And had it been Act 1, she would have gone on to do a whole album about loving who you are and where you come from. Also, giving everyone else a reminder that country music, baby, it never belonged to you to begin with. It really was created by Black people, and like people tend to do, you saw something that was making money, and so then you started doing it too. But really, you are not the originators. You're simply a duplicator, and I can do it better than you. And I'm going to do it better than you every time because I happen to love the fact that I'm a country girl deep down inside. I have these country roots that I adore so much that I'm going to create a whiskey brand, and then I'm going to sing about that whiskey for a smooth 60 minutes. That was supposed to be Act 1. Act 1 is having a love for your roots, where you come from, right? Then we would have moved on to Act 2, Renaissance. Renaissance is a feel-good love album. It is about love of self, love of expression, love of others, right? It is a joy ride from start to finish. What a time. You feel the love. I don't know what is in that album, but every time I listen to it, it is an instant mood booster. I probably should get off the phone with y'all and play Renaissance, to be honest with you, because it always puts me in such a better mood. Renaissance is an album all about love, how to express it, who you're expressing it to, not being afraid to be yourself, and really loving who you were created to be, and to never be ashamed of it. Renaissance is an album about love. Act 3, which when you think about it is really Act 4 if you count Lemonade, right? Act 3, I believe, will be an album all about love, right? And loving out loud. It'll be an album that encompasses all of the 3 albums that came before it, and it will kind of put an end. It'll be a little period to this whole musical arc because she takes you on a love journey. So what happens at the end of love, in my opinion, you are more settled in it. You are more rested in it. You're just more comfortable. And because you are that way, you are free to do a lot of the things that you want to do, right? It is a very sweet spot to be in. And because of that, I do absolutely anticipate she gonna be hooting and hollering. Because one thing Beyonce likes to do is she likes to sing songs about that man. She's gonna sing songs about that man, and if she can scream while she doing it, she will. Have you not heard Ring the Alarm? Have you not heard the entire B-Day album, actually? If you've never heard I'd Rather Be With You from the Dangerously in Love album, which is her first solo album, I suggest you play that, because those are the types of sounds I'm expecting on Act 3. I'm expecting it to be very Prince, very Bootsy Collins, very Rick James, very just loud. I've heard some people say they see references from Stevie Nicks, and you know Stevie Nicks, they sampled Bootylicious from her. And I want to say Stevie Nicks was in that music video, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so I could totally see that. She's going to scream. It's going to be loud. I'm very excited about it. And I feel like the lyrics and the overall tone of this album will be one of just out loud expression, all of the things. All of things. If you're mad, be loud about it. If you're in love, be loud about it. If you just don't even know what you got going on, it's okay, girl, be loud about that too. I do see her doing maybe one or two of her, y'all know how she likes to do an empowerment song, like Who Run the World, You Won't Break My Soul. Like, I feel like we'll get something like that on this album. And it all starts at the Met Gala. So we have to pay attention to what she wears. What color is it? Do we pick up any other hints or clues? If she carries a handbag, we got to look at that and see if something's printed on it, or if her jewels make out a certain word or a certain picture of something. We have to pay attention, because the Met Gala is going to tell us everything we need to know about Act 3. I don't know if it is realistic to think we're going to get another movie. I kind of feel like if we were going to get a Cowboy Carter movie, it would have come out like the one for Renaissance did. Like the tour ended for Renaissance. That movie was in the theaters, like boom. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she would release a Cowboy Carter movie before the official launch of Act 3. But to be honest, I just kind of feel like at this point, it doesn't even make sense. Now, some of her fans seem to think that a lot of the footage we saw during the Cowboy Carter tour and some of the footage we saw during the Renaissance tour is part of a film called Echoville. And they feel like maybe Echoville will come out at the end of all of this. I don't know. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. I think this whole musical experience that she's taken us on has been very interesting. It's been put together so well. And I, for one, cannot wait to hear how she closes up this chapter. Because surely after Act 3 and the tour from Act 3, I know that girl about to sit down somewhere. And we probably won't hear from her for a while. What are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen with Act 3? And when do you think it's going to happen? Let's also just keep in mind that her husband definitely has something going on, because he's been talking a whole lot, doing a lot of interviews. We know he has his shows over the summer, the Roots Picnic, and then he has his shows at Yankee Stadium, right? So we know he's got stuff happening. Some people say they think he's about to do an album. And I gotta say, which it is not far-fetched to believe, if we are on a love journey, and if Lemonade, if we considered it to be Act 1, then the true way to end a love story is for the couple to end it together. And if Act 3 is another joint album, I don't know, you guys. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I love Jay-Z. I do, but I don't think I want another joint album right now. Like, I would rather have her do a solo album and then them come back as the Carters again at some other time. Because that album, Everything is Love, was a good album. It really was. But I'm like, I don't want that for Act 3. But I do know and understand she's got to close up the love story that she's told. So, I don't know. We'll see. I have still been watching Imperfect Women. If you have not watched that show yet, please try to get caught up. The finale, I think that's the finale, is on Apple TV right now. So you can watch the whole first season of it before we talk about that show. I really want to try to give people a chance to actually watch it before I get up here and do all of the spoilers, because it is such a good show. I do not know what Cookie is barking about. He is downstairs. If that means anything to anybody, he is all the way downstairs. That is how loud he is. He has turned into quite the menace, by the way. And I don't know if that's because he's getting older, like his mama. His tolerance for stuff has just really diminished over these past, I would say, 6 months. So, yeah, girl, that's all I have for you today. I'm about to go ahead and read. So I'm ready for book club tonight. I think tonight we are going to have those salads for dinner. And so that means I got to go to the store and get some fresh stuff. I'm excited about that. I also kind of want to squeeze in a visit to the sauna because my body is so sore from the workouts this week, but I doubt I'll have enough time to make that happen. Let me know what you thought about some of the things we talked about in this episode. Message me on Instagram. You can do that by DMing me at Tia's Table Podcast. Follow me over there if you have not already. Girl, when you're out, say something nice to a woman, compliment her, make her day, make her smile. Don't compete, don't compare, don't complain. What God has for you is for you. And never knock another woman's hustle. I'll talk to you again next week. Love you, girl. Bye.